Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. The objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in the challenge for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we looked at tick symbol MMTLP with a focus on a water study and also an update with regard to FUD, so please refer back to the previous video for those updates. In today's video we're also going to be doing an update with regard to MMTLP. We are getting very close now, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the potential impact of shorts, what may happen going forward, and we're also going to be looking at a review of the weekly watch list, so stay tuned for that. So first of all, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So if you have a look at the screen here, we can see that Musk is now in talks with Twitter, and it looks like a deal is getting close. So if we have a look at how the stock reacted, the stock was up close to 22%. Looks like a deal is potentially on. So Elon Musk has also submitted an SEC filing with regard to this Twitter deal. So what we can also see here is Dow Jones was up close to 750 points, so overall very positive day, and I'm sure you're on the screen here, you'll be able to see that this is something that we have not seen for quite a while, so long may this continue. So I'm going to start by giving a shout out here to G34, who has reminded us all of some key points with regard to MMTLP. So let's have a look at what he stated here, and what he's saying is also confirmed by management, by the company, by George, in the earnings call by John Berger as well. And the process is also described in the S1. So reminder here, Nextbridge Hydrocarbons is going to be a private company. It will remain so immediately after the spin out completes. So that's the key objective. Being a private company is going to be the key thing with regard to what may be trouble for the short position. So we're going to be having a look at potential problems for the shorts shortly to transfer over into Nextbridge when it spins out. And then we're also looking at all short positions must be closed. So that's the key thing there. That is potentially going to look at obviously a potential run up in the price of MMTLP. And right now we have been seeing significant amount of FUD. One of the reasons for this FUD may be obviously trying to encourage you to sell, create a little bit of fear. And finally here he's now saying it is confirmed, if you buy MMTLP you will get the dividend of Nextbridge Hydrocarbon shares, and as long as you hold over to the record date, which is still yet to be announced. So we are waiting for that. Once we get S1 approval, that will be there. People are, and anybody telling you outright opposite, contrary to this, is certainly spreading FUD as well. People questioning the fact that you are trying to scare you to sell your shares. So as far as I'm concerned, I have a strong belief that most of the people holding MMTLP are the longs. I also believe that the key people in terms of we have John Berger, we have Greg, we have William, and we also have David close to this. I think they're going to be very close to 30% of MMTLP. Then if you also take into account the European people, especially in the United Kingdom, we through the Trading 212 app are unable to trade. That includes to transfer, to buy or to sell. So we cannot trade MMTLP. So in terms of volume, this is also going to be a significant problem. And the other difference with regard to what's happening with MMTLP, and if we compare it with AMC and GMC and GameStop, the key difference here is now we will have a closed time period. The shorts will be limited in terms of time, whereas previously there was no specific cutoff date. In one of my previous videos I talked about William Stewart, who's regarded as the second largest holder of MMTLP with in excess of 16 million shares. So please refer back to the previous video for details of that update. In today's video I'm going to share with you some further discussions that I had with William today, and I'm going to share with you here some of the updates that he shared with me. And first of all, he has said he's acquired more shares close to 20,000. So on the screen here, you'll see some of the orders that have gone through in terms of quantities. Obviously, if you do buy significant large amounts of MMTLP, they don't always go through at the same time. So on the screenshot here, you'll be able to see that these have gone through as 4,524, 2,200, 200 and 100 and so on. So the other thing I would like to share with you is a screenshot of a potential plan that William has in case we get a significant run up. So one of the aspects of this plan would be potentially to cover any significant losses occurred in holding MMAT, that I'm sure many of you are also looking and hoping to do. So in terms of William's plan here, we can see he's looking at if we get a price of approximately $63, looking to sell in excess of 181,000 shares of MMTLP once it hits $65, looking to sell in excess of $195,000, and as we go further up near the top, we can see once it hits $81, looking to sell in excess of 348,000, and at the top you'll see we also have a price of $85, looking to sell just in excess of 403,000. So this is all through TD Ameritrade. So if you look at these figures, not all brokers will allow these prices to be inputted as a limit order. So go ahead and check what you are allowed to sell, but certainly these are going through, and this is definitely a bullish sign in terms of going forward with the plan. And two questions I'd now like to throw into the mix with regard to the shorts. First question is when will they stop allowing MMTLP to be shorted? Because obviously there is going to be a cut-off date, so the brokers will be under a responsibility to make sure this is no longer being able to short it. So this is obviously going to create some problems they will have to cover, and that's something that we're going to hopefully see very, very soon. Another question I'd like to pose in terms of anybody would like to respond to this, and that is with regard to Citadel. Again, in terms of some speculation, are Citadel responsible for the shorting of MMTLP? So again, question for them. I don't expect a response, but if anybody is able to enlighten us on this, certainly as far as I'm concerned, a strong possibility that they may well be. And final thing I'd like to look at is with regard to people considering not selling and holding. So obviously if you are considering not selling and holding all the way through to get private shares in Nextbridge hydrocarbons, what is the potential outcomes and long-term potentials for you going forward? So this is also going to include many of the European investors and the United Kingdom investors who are unable to trade MMTLP due to the restrictions from the brokers. So if we look at possibilities here, again, especially for any Americans, there is also one significant advantage from the tax point of view, and that is if you once you get shares in Nextbridge hydrocarbons, this will be a private company, and if there is a deal, or fingers crossed when there is a deal with regard to a potential sale, so let's say for example that sale is with Exxon, that sale is with Marathon, or that sale is with Conco. So if we get a deal where there is a swap for MMTLP shares and shares of a purchasing company, a tax advantage there is obviously that will give you a benefit of deferring any tax liability. So that's a positive thing to consider, especially if you're not thinking of selling. So obviously if you are selling, then obviously you need to consider any of your tax liabilities there. So that's going forward in terms of potential positive outcome if you do not sell. And now I'm going to finish off by having a quick look at the chart for ticker symbol MMTLP. So we did see a significant recovery in the market today, and we can also see right now in terms of MMTLP at close of play that was up in excess of 4.6%, closing at $1.59. So good news there. What I'd now like to do is move on to have a look at a review of our weekly watch list. So before we look at some of the stocks that we call for this week, quick review of last week's weekly watch list. So I'm sure many of you aware that last week was a very difficult trading week. However, we did have some significant success. So we called out ticker symbol SONX. And last week that was up in excess of 80% if you sold on the Tuesday. We also called out ticker symbol ATHX, that was up 27.6%. We called out NAOV, so great chance to get a 20% return from the Monday and the Tuesday. We also called out LITM, so there was a great chance of a return of 36% there. but obviously after that the stock was volatile, and towards the end of last week we did see a downturn in many of the stocks. AVCT was a significant hit for most of the investors, where we had the news of the split, and that was down, so not good news with regard to AVCT. BBIG we also called out 5% down on the week. However, there was a good chance to get 15% return Tuesday to Wednesday. Finally, we also called out CANO, an interesting stock there, down 2% on the week, but some great opportunities with volatility to get 5% returns with day trading. So the other thing I'd now like to share with you here is some of the stocks that we've called out this week. So on the screen here, you'll see that we called out ticker symbol FNGR, ticker symbol ATXI, and ticker symbol SOBR. So these are stocks that we don't always talk about on the channel, but certainly are shared in advance with the Discord members. So FNGR is one of the most interesting stocks that we've seen in recent times. Not many people are talking about this, but what I'd like to share with you here is copy from our screenshot in terms of the live trading channel. And you'll see here at time of trading, this was up in excess of 701%. So an exceptional return here, especially when you consider it was up in excess of 701% over the previous 5 days. So that is staggering. So shout out and special congratulations to everybody in the Discord who did well in ticker symbol FNGR. And if we see here today, it's down 5%, so a little bit of consolidation. It's over the previous 5 days up in excess of 491%, but again, in terms of the live trading channel at that time, it's up in excess of 700%. So we also called out ATXI. You can see here on the screen up in excess of 25% today, so congratulations to everybody in here. But over the previous 5 days, this is up in excess of 137%, so great returns here. We also called out SOBR, also known as Sober Safe Incorporated. That is down today about approximately 5%, but over the previous 5 days, you'll see on the chart here, it's still up in excess of 56%. So again, some great profits there. And finally, if you'd like to get advanced notification of our weekly watch list, which is shared prior to trading on the Mondays, you can certainly consider joining us in the Discord for little as $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.